7:24. Now, girls are once again expected to outperform boys in the GCSE results next week. That's according to leading education expert Professor Alan Smithers.
Yeah, he was warning that the chronic underachievement of boys is being overlooked, and he says it should be treated as a national issue.
So, as a nation, are we failing a whole generation of boys?
Well, joining us to discuss this, political commentator for Young Voices UK, Alex Petropoulos, and National Ambassador for the Army Cadets, Jordan Wiley. A very good morning to you. Let's start with you, Jordan. Is it a failure of our teaching, or are we not teaching the right subjects that attract boys in the first place?
Good morning. I think, as you say, there's a lot of research that tells us that boys are being left behind in many aspects of life, and not just in education, where they're underperforming in things like GCSEs, but also in mental health, where young men are far more likely to take their own lives these days. And I think the truth is that not everybody thrives in the classroom, and we don't often give them enough other routes to succeed. A lot of boys are falling behind because they start school on the back foot. And what we've seen is we simply don't have enough role models in society. Young boys are feeling lost, they're feeling isolated, and there isn't enough clear direction and path forward. And I think we also have to recognise that the pressures that young boys face today are very different than they were 10, 20, 30 years ago. Things like social media, online influences, they're growing up in a world that's far more intense and a lot less forgiving in many respects.
But how does that equate to what's happening at GCSE level?
Well, I think that, within the classroom, certainly something that in the Army Cadets we look at is that not all classrooms have four walls. There are lots of other ways to learn. We work incredibly hard, as all cadet forces do, to tackle these challenges head on. We give young people structure, we give them discipline, we try to give them positive role models, and we create opportunities and environments that build things like confidence, resilience and teamwork in a safe place. And perhaps most importantly, I think these days, we give them a real true sense of belonging and purpose at a time in their lives as teenagers where they often feel quite lost and very vulnerable, as we're seeing.
Jordan, what do you think about this? Is this a societal problem, or is there something major we need to do to address this?
I think Alex.
Alex, I beg your pardon, Alex.
Yeah, go ahead. No, we've got a sound problem.
A lot of what's been said already. And I think that, the things about role models and the things about societal support, I think that's maybe where most of the attention needs to be put at. I would say that the culture has largely sterilized a lot of the role models that young boys might have available towards them. We've sort of sterilized away what might be more edgy role models. And I think we have to be accepting of the fact that young boys might be looking for role models that are more edgy, that are maybe, not PC by typical terms. But in sterilizing this away and in saying, no, this isn't acceptable, we end up pushing them to even worse role models. And this sort of exacerbates an existing issue, all the issues that I agree with that have already been said.
Well, I wonder then if this, I don't know if this ties in or not, Jordan, but this idea that there's all this talk about toxic masculinity. And look, there may well be an issue and a problem, things that need to be addressed, but it's almost embarrassing to be a male at the moment for a lot of people.
Yeah, I think the sort of the values that we would have really harnessed many years ago, things like courage, things like standing up and doing and saying the right things, these seem to have somehow been diluted in society through things, as you say, the wrong types of role models online that make it almost acceptable to say and do certain things. But that's why certainly as the Army Cadets, as not only the cadets, but the Scouts, the Duke of Edinburgh Award programmes, we spend a lot of time, trying to help them discover those old school values, those strengths, and give them a sense of belonging and purpose. There's been a lot of evidence and research, certainly by Northampton University, that shows in society that where cadets are active, we see much less crime, we see fewer people ending up in the judicial system, we see better school attendance, we see healthier lifestyles, and ultimately less pressure on our healthcare system. So we do our best to prevent these issues values and champion, because there are also a lot of excellent young people out there who aren't just surviving, but they're thriving. So we can't blanket everybody under that same umbrella, so to speak.
So, Alex, maybe we should be doing more of what Jordan is talking about there.
I'll yes and that. I'll say that we should be investing. We just need to invest more in young people, and we need to invest more in opportunities for them, in youth services, in essentially avenues for them to, like Jordan was saying, feel like they have value, feel like they have purpose. Now that comes to a funding thing, and I think when you look at the funding, the story that is being told is that money is being diverted away from young people and is essentially being funneled, in many different directions, but often towards the pensioner class in many cases. And so I think that we're playing a short-termist game here, and we're not investing in our future generations, which, in the long term, that's going to come back and bite us really hard.
OK, Alex Petropoulos. Jordan Wiley, thanks very much indeed. Jordan, I'd give you a job in government.
Yeah, absolutely.
Actually,
I think that's what we need.
Because I think a lot of this about structure and things is really important. Thanks both.
Well, I think